28 Trailing. Major, we are in trouble. Colonel Sammy found the data link transmission button and transmitted the coordinates of the 3 enemy planes to the multifunction display of the No-02 aircraft. The 2 planes could not communicate with the ground of the Pakistan Air Force. The command system, or the early warning aircraft, conducts encrypted data exchange, but the 2 aircraft can still transmit some information to each other through the data link. Now, without turning on the radar, Song Ning saw 3 planes slowly moving from 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock. He was faced with a choice: either continue to fly forward or escape. "We can lower the altitude and turn right and get out of them, Colonel. Since the formation has been spotted on the ground, it's better to let your colleagues deal with it. Maybe we can fly back to the airport, but we can't fight." "Major, it's just an over-the-horizon air battle. We just need to keep our current course and wait for them to overfly and stealthily capture the right azimuth attack. Position, press the launch button, and the matter is over," Sammy said lightly. Song Ning also knew that it was roughly the same. Of course, what he didn't know was that Colonel Sammy was eager to fight for another reason. He was worried about these 3. The ghostly phantom hiding at low altitude was heading for Hyosub's heavy water factory. The colonel knows that a few days ago, the command had transferred all the F-16s of the Griffin Squadron, which has been stationed in Sargodha all the year round, to the north for firefighting. Maybe it seems to the command that the Hyosub heavy water factory in the middle is very secret, but now the defense in that area was very empty. Of course he couldn't say these words to Song Ning. No, I can't do this. I can't take part in the war." Song Ning rejected the colonel's intention. He also couldn't say all his thoughts, because he was worried that the air call would be monitored. If too many words leaked out, what a clue! The intelligence department of the other side may judge that there are foreign fighter jets in the warring area. "Major, you don't know how vulnerable the plane is when it goes deep into the enemy's territory. The pilot has no time to worry about the enemy's situation in all directions, which is a good opportunity to attack. I know this very well, and I know the location is good." But Song Ning, he wanted to refute Sammy fiercely, but he found that he seemed to be persuaded by Sammy. The current situation is not easy to meet. When many pilots enter the battlefield for the first time, they will be like the 3 planes on the radar, and they will turn their butts to others without realizing it. Sitting in a fighter pilot, it is difficult for him to resist such a situation. "Chance. Captain Black Spider, I can't do this. This is discipline," Song Ning said while glancing at the latest updated distance. The 3 Indian fighter jets were 100 kilometers away, almost directly in front of his own nose. "And I was in their 3 o'clock direction, a little farther away, but the opportunity was absolutely once in a lifetime. This is an encounter. We don't have a better choice. If we turn, we will be in danger. Think about it." "Tell me about your plan," Song Ning said. "Secretly occupy 30 kilometers of their tails, fire a salvo, and then we leave." Song Ning couldn't resist the colonel's words. "If we don't get into the dogfight." "Don't worry, Major, after the missile attack, they will be startled. It's impossible to see your emblem, I promise," Colonel Sammy said. He actually knew that Song Ning was worried. "Thing. You promise?" "I promise. Now let's go after it, or it'll be too late," the colonel said, pushing the throttle valve to the afterburner state. "I can only stay on the sidelines to observe and not participate in the attack." "Okay, you don't need to intervene, I will solve it alone," the colonel replied. Song Ning went out of his way. If a person wants to convince himself, he will always find a reason. Since this is the territory of Pakistan, it is logically impossible for India to grasp all the situation. Moreover, the domestic task is to collect engagement information, and the battle itself is also a part of the information. "Major, you don't have to fire, but we have to turn on the radar alternately, so that they can't detect the tracking." The electronic systems of these French products are very smart. Received. Song Ning glanced down at the monitor. The target speed was updated, disappeared. The colonel had turned off the radar. He knew that Colonel Sammy was a ghost. He was worried that one radar would track for too long and cause the alert system of the other radar warning system. So he turned on the radar power of No 02 and started tracking. The speed quickly reached 1000 km per hour, and the formation of the J-10 pair began to turn right. The enemy planes have entered the range of the J-10's medium-range missiles, but they still don't use radar tracking, because Sammy thinks the distance is still too far. His 01 plane has only 2 medium-range missiles, and the colonel hopes that the first attack will at least shoot down if an enemy plane is in a hurry to enter the tracking state. The enemy's radar warning system will immediately remind the pilot to respond. In that case, one may not be able to fight. Major, do you know why the Air Force staff didn't introduce your medium-range missiles? On the radio, the colonel suddenly asked a question unrelated to the engagement. How do I know? I'm not involved in foreign trade negotiations. Haha, because this missile has Israeli technology, and part of our funds depend on Saudi Arabia. I don't know how you think about it. Song Ning said a little. Wanted to laugh because the answer was absurd, but the huge overload in the turn made him unable to laugh, and he had to quickly hold his throat and pressurize it, which would add some extra blood pressure to the head. Now, your missiles will prove their worth in a battle, said the colonel. 60 kilometers away, Lieutenant Mathanga of the 1st, Tiger, Squadron of the Indian Air Force is sitting nervously in the cabin. He has found some bad signs. There has always been a strange radio radiation source behind his Mirage 2000 formation. For 2 minutes, he has been paying attention to the radar warning system. The height of the source of this intermittent pulse is very low, and it has been changing between the X and L bands, and no tracking has been formed, but in the last 40 seconds, the intensity has been increasing. This is an ominous omen. The captain also noticed that the scanning period of the radiation source is very short, not like a mechanical scanning radar, and it does not look like a ground radar from an angle analysis. In the briefing room an hour ago, the intelligence officer of the 1st Squadron had assured the pilots that there would be no Pakistani early warning aircraft nearby in the sneak attack. The law of action of the early warning aircraft, they are all attracted to the north, so now is the time to implement the hurricane plan. However, as things stand, things are not as good as the intelligence services have assured them. Tiger 2, pay attention to the radar beam at 5 o'clock. I think something is wrong. Tiger 1, I also saw it, maybe a few hundred kilometers away. An early warning aircraft. They promised today's mission. There won't be a lot of trouble. How do you do it? Tiger 3, ready for electronic suppression.